Welcome to Jackie's Groove. Come journey with us through the rhythm of the music business with your host, Jackie Bertone.
Everybody, welcome to Jackie's Groove. Hey, it's Jackie Bertone. Jackie's Groove brought to you by EnterTalk Radio. You're in to all things music, or connect to all things music. You guys, we're gearing up, man. We've got coming up this month. I can't believe it, already happening. NAMM. It'll be my 28th vacation there.
Vacation.
And I say that haphazardly because I missed last year because of my surgery, but I can't wait to do it. And what we're doing here is not a live show, even though we're live here doing it, but we're gonna piggyback with your corporation and for social media and promotion and so on. So with that said, everybody, I want everybody to welcome with open arms and open ears a gentleman that is the head of a company I have been blessed to be an endorsee of for 25 years, my cymbals company of choice called Sabian. So with everybody, welcome with open arms and open ears to Jackie's Groove, Mr. Andy Zildjian. Andy, welcome, brother.
Thank you, Jackie.
Hey, man, happy New Year, brother.
And you?
Man, you know what? We are we're really excited that we're getting our companies together that are believing in Jackie's Groove and believing in EnterTalk. And actually, EnterTalk kind of did like a little bit of a teaser. We're going from EnterTalk Radio, since we're expanding so heavily, to EnterTalk Media, and we'll talk more about that in future shows. But today is all about the Sabian family.
Yep.
And again, there's been a lot of questions that I've had from our mutual friends and so on and so forth that don't kind of want to tread on or walk on eggshells. How is the relationship between the Zildjian and the Sabian family?
Well, actually, it's not so bad. I mean, I know a lot of people would be interested and would like it to be have some animosity, but in reality, we're competitors. Yes, it is run by my cousin, and I have some family that work there, but they were always about 16, 17 years older than I.
Okay.
And so I never really knew them that well. And when the family decided to split, it was more between the generation above us. And so I never really had any anger or anything like that. No negativity, really. Just good, strong competition. And frankly, that's how it goes today. We don't get together for family gatherings.
Right.
We don't have Thanksgiving and Christmas together.
Sure.
But at the same time, we see each other and we're cordial and friendly. There's no reason to be angry.
You know, it's funny because, you know, me being half Armenian, half Italian,
Yeah.
as we talked about you're more Irish and Scottish more than you're
Scottish.
and then you are Armenian. But it's funny, what made me go towards the Zildjian family was the IAN.
Sure.
You know, on that itself. So I've kind of figured I would keep it all in the Hanamis, if you will, that we would do that. And I had a short run. I had a 5-year run with Zildjian. And again, being a percussionist, I'm not so much, you know, surrounded by more cymbals than I need. I'm happy with a little splash or crash above the timbales and so on. Or if I'm in the studio, I'm doing more cymbal swells if there's, you know, if needed. And then, as I said to you earlier, my dear friend, our mutual friend, Carl Parasso, the timbalero percussionist from Santana, he's the one that brought me over, along with his cohort, my dear friend that we've lost 2 years ago, Raul Reco. They brought me over to Sabian and introduced me to a gentleman who is no longer there, but will always be part of the Sabian family, Bobby Boos. And as they say, the rest is history. Going on 25 years this year with Sabian. Thank you. You know,
you're young to the company then.
Well, you know, as opposed to everybody else that's out there. Yeah, you know, it's I'm biased because the product is right. As I told Andy before we came on. The beauty part about the NAMM Show, and I tell all the young kids out there that don't understand that endorsements of today are nowhere near what they were years ago when I started out. You don't go to NAMM to talk to any of the A&R reps. They're not going to talk to you. You know,
well, they will. They want to get to know, depending on who you are and if they've heard of you, right?
If they've heard of you. If you're a young guy going in there because your father's uncle's aunt, who's the gardener that knew somebody from NAMM, got you in there, just stay away from that situation. And the thing about that is, the thing about endorsements, and I say this wholeheartedly, your companies, the endorsers, they want to know everything that's encompassing your career.
Well, the reason,
Please.
one of the major reasons is because the company's not endorsing the player. It's the player endorsing the company. And so if the player doesn't have any real, I don't want to say the word really validity, because that's not right. It's more along the lines of if they're not somebody who is looked up to, if they don't have that type of following,
Okay.
then it's not going to be mutually beneficial. And matter of fact, it probably won't be beneficial to either party, because then you just end up with unfulfilled wants and needs, and
Sure.
it just doesn't work out well.
You know, and it's like I've had, after NAMM, again, last year I wasn't there, but the year before, my wife always gets a kick because I always get a phone call, and I got a call from Soultone.
Yeah.
A great cymbal company in their own right.
Yeah.
And like wink, wink.
They're like everybody else.
Yes.
They make the same stuff.
But they came to me and they offered me a double truck advertisement.
Well, of course.
In Modern Drummer.
Anybody who buys a cymbal from them is an endorser.
That's it. And so I graciously said thank you.
Yeah.
But no thank you. Mine also came up, and that's a pleasure because I've been in the industry for 30 years. You know, I've got a name as one of the top players, but I'm loyal as a dog.
Thank you.
Yeah, there's no need for me to go anywhere. Again, going on 28 years this year with LP Music, who is now
Right.
part of the DW family.
Yep.
Johnny Good,
Sure.
the Don Lombardi, and Chris Lombardi. And so with that said, if you guys get a chance to go to NAMM, will NAMM have the Sabian wall again this year?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we're going to have the wall. Everybody who's in percussion got moved.
Right. This is our wall, by the way. This is our miniature wall.
Which
here.
is a good start.
Absolutely.
It's a good start. Now, everybody in percussion was moved to a new location, so we had to come up with a new booth. But one thing that we were adamant about is we need to have it, because it's beautiful. Not only is it beautiful, but you get a lot of people who want to come out and have their pictures taken in front of it.
Of course.
Just because it's interesting, too.
Andy, let me ask this question. I didn't have the pleasure of hanging out with you because I was in recovery still when you did the situation with Florentino and Paul at Pitbull Audio.
Yep.
When Sabian was actually hand hammering
Right.
and making cymbals out there. My question I want to ask, because I have the same set of cymbals I've had for the past 5 years, was my new shipment from you guys. But what has changed today in the way of modern technology versus back in the day?
Well, actually, I'm glad you brought that up, because to start with, you were asking me about the family and if we had any animosity, and actually none at all. But what I like about that we left Zildjian and started Sabian was that when we left, there were maybe 300 different cymbals you could choose from, and that includes finishes. And that includes all types of weights and sizes,
Right.
et cetera. And now there's got to be more, like around 6,200. So the choices for drummers, although vast, are amazing. So you can take a sound that you were looking for that a cymbal never really fit, and you can find incrementally every piece that you're looking for that's in there.
You know, and I tell a lot of the drummers itself, actually, when I went down with Carl to the first time when Sabian had their showroom in the Valley.
Right.
And you'd go in a room and they'd have these cymbals and you'd pull them out on these little arms that go down there, and we would be able to hit the sound that we wanted, and so on. But again, as percussionists, we don't have a plethora of cymbals. We can.
Yeah.
I can know Purda better than anybody can when it comes to cymbals. But as I got older, my collection got smaller.
Sure.
The commando gear, playing what was needed to play. With Sabian's new current line in 2018, if we can do kind of a teaser, if you will, of new stuff coming out, let's step back to 2017.
Okay.
What is Sabian's main draw in the way of cymbal line? What is the biggest push? Is it the HHX? Is it the...
HHX Evolution has been probably our strongest, just because it fits so many different applications. It's a great sounding cymbal, and it does so many different things. It can be dry, it can be really splashing and crashy, a lot of different things. That's been the strongest. AAX is another one that's really strong, because both of those are they're clean cymbal. And so you can use them in more applications or more types of music, but they're also going to give you a really nice, sweet sound that's not quite as explosive, I guess might be a word for something like an AA, which will just give you sound, whereas an AAX, HHX will give you more of a precise sound.
And doesn't resonate, it doesn't decay as quick as...
Oh, no, it decays probably a little bit faster.
Really?
Right, which is one of the nice things, too, because you play it and it gets out of the way. But for 2018, we're coming out with something that I think is revolutionary. we'd had a lot of people who were talking to us about, do you mind if I talk about that?
It's your show, baby.
We had people who were asking us about different sounds and how they were playing and the application and things they had to do that they hated doing, like putting up those plexiglass cages around them. Drives me crazy because I want to hear the drummer. I want to hear what they have to say. I want to hear their musical expression. And you can't as well when they're, and it has to be all mic'd. And you'd have singers right over here and they'd have that cage in so that it wouldn't be bleeding in. Well, we put together a cymbal that has all the same volume, but it reduces the frequencies that are being played. And what happens is, if you've got these singers right here and they've got their microphone, you hit that cymbal, it doesn't interfere with their microphone.
How is that possible?
I can't tell you. You got to come see it, man.
Okay.
Right.
That would be a great thing. We talked earlier about Al Di Meola. If you ever been to an Al show,
yeah.
Al's got a really bad case of tinnitus, or tinnitus as he calls it.
Yes.
And he has got more. I mean, you remember Paul when we were in San Diego. I mean, all the different baffles that he has on stage, and it's not because the drummer wants it; it's that he can't hear.
Right.
And he's got to get to a certain level. He'll be in the middle of the show, and then they'll have the crew come out and move it a skosh, just because the ring is killing him. So yeah. I'm really, really curious. Will they give us the recipe when we go to NAMM? Will they
once you see it, you'll understand it. But it's the it's an interesting thing with the way Mark Love, who's our cymbal guru. He's the R&D for us. He's the R&D for another company in Germany. He's the R&D because they
development. Everybody.
Yeah, they steal from us all the time. Which actually, I'll give you a funny story about that later on. But he came up with a way of making a cymbal that will have all the volume but won't interfere in the rest of the room. So if you're playing in a smaller venue, you can go ahead and play. You can play to your heart's content. You can smack that cymbal, and it's not going to interfere with the rest of the band, and it's not going to make people in the front row go deaf.
Okay, let's step away from live venues.
Yeah.
Let's go back in the studio.
Sure.
Is this going to have a benefit, this cymbal in the studio?
Engineers love it. Absolutely. We tested it. We've done beta testing with about 4 or 5 different types of scenarios. And the engineers absolutely love it because now they can mic the drum set without having to put gates on it, and they don't have to put everybody farther away. You can be close in and play, and everything is cleaner. The drums are cleaner, the cymbals are cleaner, and all of the people singing around are cleaner. And they love it.
And it keeps them from having to worry about during the mix down itself, having to clean everything up, the back noise and so on.
Correct.
Yeah, as we started saying earlier about endorsements, with me not being a quote-unquote visual, as are the players like Richie Gajati Garcia,
yep.
Ramon Islas, all of our boys that are out on the main stages and so on. The thing that keeps me going and that's appreciative with Sabian, with LP, with Remo, and with Vader is that every album that I've been blessed to do, I ask the production company, may I please have a spot so I can thank my companies. Now, that right there alone, again, you can do all the Shining Sea of Faces. You can be playing in front of 60,000 people, 100,000 over the years, 200,000 in a season. But when you have something is recorded on tape, and when someone looks at something, I'm not going to beat this dead horse, but the liner notes, which we're missing. And the fact is, when you open those liner notes and to see who's playing on there, and to see that each individual musician has used a Sabian, and whatever it may be, that's a thank you very much to the corporation.
Well, and thank you very much for thinking of it.
And that's something I do because, again, I know how to keep fueling the fire.
Sure.
I think we did a huge thing at DW, and I had 8 of my monkey friends in front of me, Joey De Leon, Ron Powell, Felipe Fraga. The list goes down the line. And we talked, and we were talking about dedication and loyalty. And I said to Derek Zimmerman, who's basically the Steve Negocian now, and I said to Darren, I said, I've got no plans going anywhere. I said, and the only time I'm leaving LP is when they don't re-sign my contract. And then of course Derek leans forward and goes, Jackie, I've been wanting to tell you something.
Oh,
but the bottom line is, and so you stick with the best.
Yeah.
LP's line has always been what the best players play. And I want to know something, Paula. How are we doing on time for this first segment? Okay, I want to ask this question if it bleeds over into segment 2. I said this to my wife on the way up today. I'm real curious, and there's got to be some kind of a schematic formula. Does Sabian know how many hit songs have been recorded that have been Grammy nominated, Grammy award winning, and so on, that actually employed a Sabian cymbal? I mean, I'm curious about that.
Well, we could probably figure it out just because we know who our endorsers are and we know the recordings.
Exactly what you said.
And yes, we could, except, and I've spoken with other drummers about this too, there have been drummers who have come up to me and said, hey, Andy, guess what? I'm playing your stuff on this album. Great, and you're an endorser of XYZ company. Say, wonderful, now you're making them sound good. Don't do that anymore. If you really want our sound, play our stuff. Because if you're out there playing our stuff on there, then everybody's going to think, wow, that sounded really great. What was he using? And then they'll look up what you had and they'll go, don't do that.
Does Sabian, who's head of A&R right now with Sabian?
Chris Stanky.
I knew that, but I wanted to make sure he gets the sound out to that.
Thank you. Because I keep telling him to brand himself.
You know, with that said, is with your endorsements with Sabian, on the people who have that are relevant in the industry, how long is it? A year, 2 year, 3 year, 5 year contract that you know of?
The contract itself, I'm trying to think because I haven't looked at it for a while. The contract, I think, is a 2-year contract, but it's the kind of thing that unless there's a reason to stop the agreement, it just perpetuates. So we don't have to re-sign.
What keeps Sabian? What keeps the artist with Sabian that they don't walk away from you?
Well, I would hope, and I've been told many times, first of all, it's the sound. Because it's the sound that they're looking for, and if they can't find it, we have people who really not only can figure it out and know what to do to a cymbal, but we have the people who can do that to a cymbal. One of the things you were asking me about with manufacturing styles and techniques, I think it's funny that one of the reasons why we left Z Company was because they were changing the way they were manufacturing and doing it much more in a technological way, and yet they're known for being the ancient cymbal, whereas we had the folks who had come over from Turkey in our family, they came over to Canada and taught us how to hand hammer up there, and we were known as the innovative modern company, and yet we still know how to do all the old stuff. So it's a kind of interesting dichotomy there. But one of the cool parts is because we still make cymbals by hand, which you might find a few in Turkey, but at the same time their understanding of the metal and their understanding of the family process is enough so that they don't die. But it's not enough to give you a full sound in a cymbal. It doesn't just travel around, it goes in and out. And unless you have the family process done correctly, you don't have that homogeneous piece of metal. So it's muting itself. With the way the family makes it, the cymbal sound, the energy travels throughout the cymbal in a much more homogenistic piece of material.
We're going to pick this up on the next segment because we've got the bumper music's coming up right now.
In the middle of it.
Now, we're going to come back up. Remember, we're two old guys. Let's remind each other when we come back. Guys, this is Jackie Bertone, Jackie's Groove, brought to you by EnterTalk Radio. Connect all things music with my in-studio guest, live guest, Mr. Andy Zildjian from Sabian. Guys, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back at the short break.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
You know what's all around you every waking moment of your life? Marketing. You're choking on it. I'm Scott Robertson, and when it comes to strategic PR, branding, and marketing, I've seen it all. And actually, I'm still seeing it because bad marketing never sleeps. Join me each week on May the Best Brand Win, right here on EnterTalk Radio, and learn how to make the marketing for your brand unforgettable.
Hi, I'm Tim Dolbear, the host of Sound Experience on EnterTalk Radio. Each week, I talk with top professional audio engineers, producers, musicians, and the manufacturers that make the tools that we use in the studio each and every day. From capturing the perfect take to mastering your final release, and the tools and how the pros use them, we are going to dive deep into their process and learn from their experience. I look forward to you joining us each week on Sound Experience with me, your host, Tim Dolbear.
Make this your vinyl night. I'm John J.R. Robinson, and every week, music creation comes alive through stories, experiences, and sounds when vinyl records filled our hearts and minds. My friends and I share our tips and techniques used in creation of iconic tracks for recording artists such as Michael Jackson, Eric Clapton, Quincy Jones, and Steve Winwood, to name a few. Vinyl has emerged hot, and the soul of vinyl defines art and passion which burns deepest at night. Tune in every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on EnterTalkRadio.com.
Todd Zuckerman from the rock band Styx, and you're listening to my pal Jackie Bertone on Jackie's Groove. Groove on, motherfuckers.
Welcome to Jackie's Groove. Come journey with us through the rhythm of the music business with your host, Jackie Bertone.
Everybody, welcome back to segment number 2 of Jackie's Groove. This is Jackie Bertone. Wow, deja vu. Brought to you by EnterTalk Radio, connect to all things music. You know, I'm known, well, as Paul will tell you, I'm known as a shit stirrer. I like to bring romance back into the situation. And so we want to make sure that we surprise, luminaries with other iconic players. Yeah, I'm blowing smoke up your ass. Stand up next
Big time.
And so with that said, we talked about how many hit songs have been and around the world have graced the sound of Sabian Cymbals. I have a dear friend of mine that I'm going to surprise you with right now on the line, who is an amazing drummer, amazing spokesperson, all around good looking guy. And I'm not gay, but if I was, that would be the guy. So with that said, a little bit of surprise right now itself. So do me a favor. I want you to say all another endorsee. Rich Redmond, please say hi to Andy Zildjian. Andy, say hi to Rich Redmond.
So, Rich, I get it. It's the haircut, it's the tan, it's the being a young dude from Nashville. I can understand where Jackie's coming from.
Good, I'm glad you found it.
Cray. What's up?
We're cray.
What's up, guys?
Hey, brother, I want to start out by saying, you and I talked right after, and I'm not going to bring up a situation, but we want to talk about Vegas Strong for one quick second, because unfortunately, you guys were on stage during this travesty on October the 1st, and I have a lot of listeners worldwide and a lot of friends who want to know. I know the answer because you and I spoke the day afterwards. I know Jason canceled 2 weeks worth of concerts after the situation. How are you guys doing with that as a band? I mean, are you guys a little bit, no pun intended, gun shy when there's something going on? Can you share with the listeners? They want to know what that was like to be on stage and to be rushed off.
Oh, well, we were very lucky. I mean, all those poor people that were there just to enjoy us. The world is a very crazy place that we're living in. But there definitely were angels looking out for us. We had 60 people in our organization and band and crew completely unharmed, which just tells us, hey, it wasn't our time. We have special things that we need to do in the world to impact people, change lives, and so it gets heavy. I basically just promised myself that I was going to do all the things I wanted to do in life, things that I can impact people in a positive way. And that happened on Sunday, and by Thursday we were in New York City getting ready to play Saturday Night Live, and then the very next week we went back to work, and our amazing crew scraped together gear, and we went out and played our shows. And the idea was that no one's going to stop us from doing what we do, because that's the way we make a difference in the world, is, providing entertainment for people so they can escape and enjoy themselves. And it's a calling in life. It's so we're right back at it. I mean, Aldean's he just had a baby, so everyone's just kind of enjoying some nice rest. Right. And then we'll play the Houston Rodeo March 3rd, and then we'll rehearse, and then we'll be back on the road in May.
And and allow me, please say, Rich, Happy New Year from everybody here at EnterTalk, by all means. And and I want to ask, I'm going to throw this question back to you for a second, Rich. I had asked Andy a little earlier, what, in your honest opinion, what's kept you with Sabian?
Well, it's a superior product. I think in today's marketplace, you can't survive if you don't have a fantastic product. But you combine, the family history with, a commitment to excellence and, the desire to constantly reinvent the wheel. And that's something that resonates with all the, as a brand ambassador for all the companies I play, they're just all super forward-thinking people that want to continually just strive for excellence and always coming up with new stuff. Right. And, the other thing that you look for in a relationship is someone is going to be able to pick up the phone, and hey, I'm in South America and I need cymbals, or hey, I'm going to be in, upstate New York and I need some pies for this video shoot or whatever. And that's what a lot of, young musicians don't understand about, endorsements. It's really just a lifelong, sincere, mutually beneficial relationship. And hopefully I've never worn out that relationship. I pick up a couple of pies every year and they always work great. And everyone's like, man, you hit so hard, you probably break 1 million cymbals. And I don't,
right.
But, I'm lucky that I'm out there in middle America touring. And if I crack a cymbal, I've got a couple of backups, and that's a luxury. I know drummers that are out there, that are weekend warriors. They're playing every Friday and Saturday night, and they got to put down $400 for a crash cymbal. And that's, that's way more than what the gig pays. So it's really a nice place to be in life. So we love Sabian.
Yeah, Rich, and also wanted to kind of throw it back to you for a second. And I know the answers, but I'm going to act like this situation. You are a live player. I mean, you're playing in venues, into the tens of thousands of people and so on. Then again, too, you step into this quiet little room where I'm at home called the studio when I'm recording. My question for you to educate the listeners out there worldwide, do you use the same cymbals, the same arrangement in the studio as you do on live? And if you do, great. If you don't, explain why.
Oh, yeah. I think the studio is a place where you can, get a little live. I like, my front of house guy likes the consistency of knows what he's going to get every single night, because the road is it's not for the faint of heart. It's like literally the location changes every day, but the idea is to go out there and play those 23 songs and light a fire under the band and be consistent, the drum sounding consistent, the cymbals sounding consistent, setting up the figures for the band every night. It's really like going out there with an energy and just recreating this thing every night consistently. And the studio is an interesting place because, you're dealing with different sized rooms. They all sound differently. Different types of music are going to happen. So when I'm recording with Aldine, it's somewhere in that same family, 15-inch hi-hats, 19 and 20-inch crashes, 20 to 22-inch ride cymbals. The ride cymbal is the first thing that usually will change from song to song. I might do something that's very dry, something with rivets, something like an Evolution ride that's got a lot of sparkle, but it still has ping. So having a lot of different ride cymbals is the first thing that I would change out. And then depending on different types of music I'm playing, I'll maybe change it to some Artisans or some HHX, some darker type things. But for the most part, I mean, that's a luxury that not everybody, if you could just get one great set of cymbals, and you can alter your touch.
Absolutely.
That's a great place to start. I tell young musicians, just get a nice, a kit that's got maybe like a 22-inch kick, because you can still play jazz on it, but it's still big enough to rock. And then get yourself some versatile, cymbals that you can use for all styles of music. Now, once you start getting into jazz snobbery and stuff, you want to have one of those ride cymbals that just goes,
Exactly.
But yeah, for the most part, the setup that I play with Jason Aldean, I can pretty much cover all styles of music with. I just played a New Year's Eve gig at a theme park 2 nights ago, and I played a set of 16-inch hi-hats, a 20-inch crash, and a 20-inch ride cymbal. A crash, a ride, and a set of hats, and for 10,000 people.
And Jason, I want to ask you this question. Actually, I'm going to kind of put Andy on the spot right now, and actually, I want to put both of you on the spot. With your notoriety, with your success with Aldine and your history before that, and of course the history that will come after Aldine, and this is the I'm going to throw it to you, Andy, what do you as a corporation, I hate to use the term corporation, word, music, and business, what do you expect out of me? What do you expect out of Rich to support the brand name? What do you want us to bring to the forefront in the industry to promote Sabian as well as we can or should?
Well, there's a few different things. One is of course being a good ambassador, which means there are a few different criteria to become an endorser. One of them is that you have to have influence, a group of people that will listen to you. You have to have a gig that would give you that type of thing. But I think more importantly is that you have to be a good person. That includes you, Rich. Got to be a good person, right? There you go, buddy. And with that, then you can if you can become friends, which I think really, that's the benefit. It's hard not to be a friend with a drummer anyway, right? I mean,
I don't like drummers. But you know,
when drummers meet, I've had people from outside the industry and inside the industry tell me this. When drummers meet, it's not like guitar players who say, "How you doing? Nice to see you."
Yeah, exactly.
You know, big hug. How you doing? What's been going on? I like to hear from Rich. I mean, you were saying this is going to be shocking to hear, or a little. Nah, man, he's my buddy. I like to.
Yeah, but it's true.
But it's that camaraderie, which means that I'm thinking about him. I'm looking out for him, and the same thing when he's on the road. And he's thinking about people ask him questions. He's looking out for us as well.
Yeah, you know, Rich, I wanted to throw this. I asked Andy earlier. You know, I'm always blessed to walk out of NAMM, and a week later I get the plethora of phone calls, as I said, from Soul Tone and from Meinl and even our good friends at Zildjian, ask me if would I be interested in coming over. They'll give me double truck advertising in Drum Magazine or Modern Drummer, etc. And I decline it. I'm honored by it, but the same situation is I'm as loyal as a dog. What above and beyond that, and share, how many phone calls does Rich Redmond get from the competition to join forces with them and leave Sabian?
You're on the spot, buddy. You're on the spot.
No, it's never happened. As a matter of fact, I go to, our friend Jules with GW. She's always got these great dinners, and we go to these dinners, and there's people from all the cymbal companies and all the drum head companies there that, and so I see Sarah from Zildjian all the time, and I see the folks from Pasty, and it's just like, everybody knows what team they're on, plus I've been with Remo since like 1993.
Hello,
and
Chris Hart.
Hello, 2002,
Chris Hart.
2003,
Exactly.
So, it's just, we just kind of know, and all the hopping around, it's never, there's a couple of people in the industry that have these horrible reputations for being those hoppers, and you never really want to be that guy.
Yeah, we'll leave that
I'm
alone.
in a situation where all the people that I work with, they respect me as a touring drummer, as a recording drummer, and as an educator. And if all your needs are being met and you love the product and you love the people, there's never a reason to go anywhere.
Exactly.
And that's a good point, because there's a lot of times that I could be talking with players who are endorsing other companies and talking them into playing our product. But at the same time, I know that they have what they want. And poaching, trying to take somebody away, it's
bullshit.
It's not cool.
Hey, Rich, and do me a favor for the listeners out there, as we're going to bring this down to a close with you, and thank you. But do me a favor for your fans and the fans worldwide, Rich Redmond, Jason Aldean, and Sabian. Go ahead and give a shout out to Sabian. Tell us what line you are favoring when you're walking on stage. Share with us. Sell that product.
Sure. I think I am on the AAX Explosion hats. They are 16 inches with the brilliant finish, and they're just real buttery, chocolatey. They still cut, but they blend. They're really, really nice. And 16-inch cymbals are becoming really, very popular. I mean, all the kids are doing it, and now you could get those cymbals. It's not a special order item anymore. You can just go to Guitar Center or your favorite drum shop and get those off the shelf. Am I right, Andy?
Pitbull Audio.
Pitbull Audio.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then the I have 20-inch A Explosion crashes, and it's with their dark and their and they're musical, but they still cut through. And then I rotate between a legacy ride, a evolution ride, or a bash ride. And right now I've been on a bash ride for about 2 years, which is really great because it's designed to be like bashed on, but it still has clarity. It's kind of like the Phil Spector thing. It just creates this kind of like hum that just fills up the it's just a roar, but it's not an overwhelming roar. It almost has like a built-in compressor. And then I think that one of the greatest products in the last 10 years in the drum industry is Chad Smith's Holy China.
Agreed.
Because they get such a bad rap, but this one it's just white hot energy.
Right.
It's just in and out. It's a nice sparkle. It almost doesn't even count as a China. You can go to it and not get that dirty look. And then my version of that in the studio is I don't use the Holy China in the studio. I'll go to like an Ozone crash, which is a little bit more buttery and it's a little bit more delicate. So I would probably be going through more of those live. So live is the Holy China, and in the studio is the Ozone. But yeah, my setup is very, very simple. A set of hats, 2 crashes, a ride, and 1 specialty cymbal. And I've gone through periods where I've had 2 hi-hats, like a remote hat, and then I've gone through periods where I've had like some stacks or some interesting things like that. But for the most part, that stuff kind of gets in the way for the style that I get called to do. It's like you're playing boom, whack, and you're you're shaping the vocal and you're driving the band. And so when you start sparkling too much or adding little splashes and stuff, it makes it sound a little bit amateurish. So I just kind of know what I need to do, and my setup works for that perfectly.
Hey, Rich, do me a favor. It's all about promotion, brother. Give yourself a shout out. Give the listeners out there, give me your URLs where they can stalk you professionally.
Oh, I love stalking. I'm just a sitting duck on the Googlenator. You just type in my name, Rich Redmond. It's Redmond. And if you go to richredmond.com, that'll lead you to all these other hubs. But if you're really bored, you can go to crashcourseforsuccess.com, and we'll tell you all about my mantra for successful living and how you can hire me to be a speaker at your school or
Beautiful.
a corporate event. And then there's a place called Drumming in the Modern World, which sounds like an epic tale.
Right.
But at Drumming in the Modern World is basically like an iTunes hub where you can download 120 educational movies, drumming education movies. And around that, just on all the socials, you just type in my name on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter.
Okay, Rich, and in closing here right now, are you going to be at NAMM this year?
I'll be at NAMM.
Okay,
yeah.
I'll contact you when we're there. The network's not telling me what we're doing here. They're smiling at me, but we got some cool things coming up. So I may be employing you along with Liberty DeVito, Garibaldi, and so on. So I'll let you know as we get going on there. All right, brother. So
I love it, man. Yeah.
I want everybody to say thank you to Mr. Rich Redmond. Rich, say hi to Jason. Congratulate the family on the new baby. Mr. Zildjian, would you please say goodbye to Mr. Rich Redmond?
Thank you, Rich. You always add that energy, and it makes it so much fun.
Oh, man. It's always great to be around you guys, and thank you so much. And we look forward to seeing you in Anaheim.
Yes, brother.
Yeah.
We will see you in the next couple weeks. God bless you. Godspeed. Happy New Year. And we're going to say goodbye because we're signing off on segment number 2, going in number 3. This is Jackie Bertone, Jackie's Groove, brought to you by EnterTalk Radio. Connect to all things music. Rich, I love you, brother. Happy New Year, and we will see you in about 2.5 weeks.
Love you guys. Happy New Year.
All right, man. So I'm waiting for that bumper music to come up here, and when we come back on the last segment, it's going to be about you.
Oh, good.
And,
hey, thanks, Rich.
And we'll definitely go from there. So, guys, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with Mr. Andy Zildjian from Sabian. You know, I have a hell of a time going Zildjian, Sabian, Zildjian. Who knows? Maybe you should call it Soul Tone.
Oh,
I don't know.
dude.
See what I did?
This is Jackie Bertone from Jackie's Groove. Come join me weekly on my journey through the music business as I take you behind the velvet rope, interviewing industry notables such as Al Di Meola, Michael McDonald, and Al Jarreau, to name but a few. Listen to their stories on being in the studios recording #1 hits and onto the stages throughout the globe. Allow me to be your music historian. You can hear me live every Monday at 2 p.m. and every Wednesday at 12 noon Pacific Standard Time or 24/7 on jackiesgroove.com. Ready to get your groove on?
Hi, this is Tim Dolbear from Eclectica Studios. I'm a full-time mixing and recording engineer. I work with Grammy winners, labels, and indie artists, using state-of-the-art digital mixing and restoration tools and the very best in analog gear. Really, though, it's my ability to bring tracks to life and fulfill your vision for your music. This has made me sought after by producers and artists worldwide. So spend your time working on music and not chasing a mix down a rabbit hole. Go to timdolbear.com and check out our free one-song mix offer.
You know what's all around you every waking moment of your life? Marketing. You're choking on it. I'm Scott Robertson, and when it comes to strategic PR, branding, and marketing, I've seen it all. And actually, I'm still seeing it because bad marketing never sleeps. Join me each week on May the Best Brand Win, right here on EnterTalk Radio, and learn how to make the marketing for your brand unforgettable.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
Hi, this is Al Di Meola, and you're listening to Jackie's Groove with Jackie Bertone.
Welcome to Jackie's Groove. Come journey with us through the rhythm of the music business with your host, Jackie Bertone.
I feel somewhat naked.
Well, you got hair. Hey everybody, welcome back to segment number 3. God, you don't want to hear what's going on here. I'm Jackie Bertone. Jackie's Groove brought to you by EnterTalk Radio Network. I want to take a quick second. Guys, when you can't listen to our station and our plethora of shows live, do yourselves a favor and do us a favor and go on to Google Play or iTunes. Download our easy-to-use and easy-to-navigate application. 2 words, EnterTalk first, radio second. Take Jackie's Groove and our other shows on the road with you when you can't listen live. Also, I want to take a couple seconds out here and thank our sponsors who keep these lights on above us. I'd like to start out with saying Calvin Lee and the boys over at Pitbull Audio, pitbullaudio.com, where they just want you to play it loud. Also, someone you're very familiar with, I'm familiar with, SIR.
Sure.
Studio Instrument Rentals, SIR-USA.com for all your backline needs. People I'm biased to. My cymbal choice for 25 years, Sabian Cymbal, that's spelled SABIAN.com.
Yep.
Please visit them for all your cymbal needs. Vader Percussion, my drumstick company of 24 years, Vader.com, VATER.com. Again, Drum Workshop, John Good, and Chris Lombardi and Don Lombardi. Thank you for your belief, guys. And also, who now own LP Music. I'm celebrating 28 years with that. So, with that said, you can visit them at lpmusic.com with the best players play. But we're back now with the patriarch of the cymbal industry.
No.
Mr. Andy Zildjian. Andy, welcome back. You know what? We got his guy next to me right here. I don't know where he came from. His name is Florentino Buenaventura, and he is our fearless leader. I call him a tyrant.
You have to sit on stiletto to be the fearless leader.
I guess, yeah.
There you go.
So we're going to have to get you one for your office.
Pucker up a little bit. Careful.
So can you give me a couple seconds to breathe, and you can go take over just a little bit of it?
What?
Okay, all right.
I guess it's your show.
Absolutely. So welcome back. You know, I do want to ask this question. We had Rich on a little while ago. I lost 20 pounds listening to Rich, and he's an amazing player. You guys go out there and definitely patronize and check out Jason Aldean at a theater venue near you. With that said, you know, we talked about the longevity of Sabian. What was good yesterday, what is now the technology of today, still being hand hammered, still being the leader in the industry itself, and what keeps you guys on the forefront. What how do I say this? What is going to keep you? Can I ask the question? Is Zildjian still considered the top out there in the way of sales? Or is Sabian there? I'm curious.
You know, they are. I mean, they've got a history of almost 400 years. So they've and believe me, in the United States when they started there back in the early 30s, and my grandfather did a lot to bring artist relations and different sounds in. That type of legacy is very difficult to contradict would be the right word, I guess. But in reality, I really think, and most of the people who are playing our product think, that they're coasting along on a great past. And they did. They have a wonderful past. But the way I look at it is Sabian is a company with a great present and future.
Dig it.
And we are always looking to try to figure out new ways of making sounds that are going to fit the needs of drummers and percussionists, because really it's all about musical expression. It's not about what they did back in the 50s, which works great, and that's their marketing, and that's good for them. But for us, it's all about what do you want now and what do you want in the future? What's the sound that's going to help you musically express yourself?
Yeah, and I think that's appropriately how you finish that up. But I want to ask this question too, and we talked about offline about the U.S. Canada relations itself. Your healthcare versus our healthcare and so on. But what I want to ask you, for a Canadian resident, and I'm real curious itself, without getting overly political, but this changing barometer, we're all in this shit together, regardless of what country we live in or we represent. In the eyes of Canada, not that you are the spokesperson for them, but the Canadian citizens, how do they look at the U.S.?
Well, actually, I'm a U.S. citizen.
Okay.
And resident as well. Right. I live just south of Boston. Right. So
Who told me? Did you misinform me?
But the factory.
For some reason, I thought you came from Canada.
No, I do on a weekly basis almost.
Okay.
I drive up there and back an awful lot, and but I do get, of course, being able to be up there and talk with everybody and understand the emotion. The way that everybody in Canada looks at the United States, and it's been a joke about this for quite some time, is the U.S. is the loud party downstairs. And the Canadians, right? The Canadians are the older couple saying, "Shut up, shut up."
Yeah, I dig it.
But one of the coolest parts about having the factory in Canada is not only do we have really good, hardworking people up there who are interested in learning more and they're not intimidated by outside influence, but they also are just really nice people. And nobody doesn't like Canadians, really, around the world, because they're just nice. It's like talking with Australians. People like Australians because they're really nice. And, we're Americans and...
we're assholes.
No, it's still a little better.
Right.
Come on.
Whatever.
That's part of who we are.
And that's, I think it's really honest, and I'm curious to find this out. We talked about Rich, we talked about myself, we talked about all these other amazing drummers that employ Sabian Cymbals in their network of music, live and or in the studio. They love it because of the quality. We talked about that, there's no secret. But you, as the head of the organization, what do you want your artists to take away from Sabian, live-wise and or studio-wise? What do you want them to walk away with knowing that they have the best product under their sticks?
Well, I guess the right answer to that, if I'm understanding your question correctly, is what I mean to say. If I'm understanding that, is I want every player to know that we care about their ability to play music the way they want it to sound. They want it to come out one way, they want to express themselves, and we want that to be able to happen. One of the main reasons is because we all love music. And you can hear a drummer, a percussionist, the way they play, the way they want themselves to sound. If it's not quite there, they're compromising. And if we make them have to compromise, that's a bad plan. If we can help facilitate their ability to play that way, to play as freely as they want, that's exactly what we want to do.
And I want to ask this question also too. We talked about everything that's music's being made with Sabian under the sticks itself. What's in your shuffle? What's in your music player?
That's a difficult question to answer, because if I do, I'm going to get in trouble by the people I don't mention, right? So I can really honestly say I listen to country, I listen to jazz, I listen to classical, I listen to rock, classic.
Boy,
I listen to everything.
What a chicken shit answer.
No, seriously. What it comes down to is this. It comes down to, if you play with ability, you play with passion, really. After that, who cares? If all you're doing is knocking off a technical sound, whatever. I don't want to hear it. If I hear the clap thing, it's just, next channel. As a matter of fact, my kids used to get mad at me. I'd drive them to school, and every time I'd hear that, I'd look at them, and they'd go, oh, okay. Exactly. And they'd have to change it because, the clap machine. That was that rhythm.
Of course.
Anyway, moving on.
let me
if it's played well and with passion, I'm in.
How does Sabian keep from... They say, invitation is the best compliment. How does Sabian stay away, augment, by finding something else that the competition's doing that you say, shit, we should have been on top of that? How do you not skirt the issue of taking that and violating intellectual property and so on?
That's only happened to us really once.
Okay.
And it's happened right now. And it was another company came up with what they thought was going to be a game changer. And because it changed no game, they had to have a fallback position. And I thought, that's a great idea. We should be doing the same type of thing. The only difference is that they're trying to sell it as a cymbal product, and I really see a practice cymbal as an accessory. So because we are going to be copying them, the L80, and turning that into an accessory, I don't have a problem with that. If we were trying to copy somebody else's cymbal sound, I'd be a little upset because, first of all, we're very much in touch with not only our endorsers, but also the market. And if we didn't figure that out, then what's missing? What happened where we lost that communication? And that's one of the reasons why people always think of us as the innovative companies, because we ask the question and we shut up and let them answer it. Don't try to put your own opinion in it. Don't interject. Just hear what everybody has to say, and then come up with a sound that can fit that need.
Dig it.
Yeah.
Florentino, you introduced me to Andy.
Yes, I did.
I didn't have a chance to really get a chance to hang out with you guys.
Yep.
At Pitbull. Talk to him.
So, Andy, actually, we had a great time.
Yeah.
At Pitbull Audio, you brought out the team.
Yep.
You brought out the boys. They were hammering away at the cymbals. I didn't think that was what was going to happen. Honestly, in the conversations we had, I thought you were going to bring out, I didn't think you were making cymbals right there. That was pretty amazing. You know, what inspired you guys to kind of come out and bring out the team, bring them away from
That's a
Canada?
very simple answer. For years, we'd brought stores, we'd brought counter personnel, people at the counter. We'd brought people from overseas to the factory, and every time they saw what goes into making a cymbal, not just the actions, but also the passion that's involved, the way the craftsmanship actually work on the product, and the attention that they give to it, we figured that we really needed to be bringing these folks. We need to bring more people up, but we couldn't do that because we're in Canada, we're in the middle of nowhere.
But you brought the right team.
So we brought it out,
yeah.
and we've been doing that on and off for 10, 15 years, and it's done quite well.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we had a great time. It was a huge audience. They did really well out there with that.
Yeah.
I think the team over at Pitbull Audio was pretty surprised. Actually, I think that was the first drum event because they weren't known for drums.
Right,
They were known for
right.
electronics gear,
Yep.
guitars, huge guitar company. And they, Sabian was the first line. I still think it's the only line of cymbals that we carry over there. They do have
That's
a couple
smart.
of drum lines. DW, right? You only need one. We only need one here and on the walls here. So yeah, it's very cool. You kind of with that too. You guys are innovating the way you reach your public. How do you see this industry going, and what are some of the things that you want to do as a company to address the dynamic changes of the MI channel?
Well, are you talking about the sales channel, or are you talking about communication?
Kind of a little bit of both, being that, we don't see the giant tours anymore unless you're,
Right.
Country, I think, still carries that. But
Absolutely.
Yeah, quite a bit.
Yeah, but you're seeing a lot more
Well, you're seeing
underground
more
groups.
people becoming known for their YouTube and things like that.
Yeah. And the
But-
dynamics there, and then how that applies to the.
Well, we have to pay attention to that because, if that's where people want to get their music, then that's people are interested in hearing it. The performers are interested in playing there. That's how they're expressing themselves. That's the new venue.
Yeah.
And it's not up to us to make the venue. It's up to us to follow the venue.
Now, do you guys look at YouTube and go, "That's somebody we want to represent us," or do you wait for them to come to you?
Well, typically what will happen is we'll look at somebody who's playing on YouTube and we'll say, that's an interesting person because the way they play, the people that they're contacting, the type of music that they're playing, and how they're presenting themselves. So at that point, we want to learn more about them to try to find out if they actually are somebody who would be worthwhile to work with. Because if all you're doing is karaoke, what's the
drum
point?
covers are a big thing right now.
Yeah,
So,
but that's not a leader.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
not somebody who's going to be able to say, you know what sound is coming up that people are going to want to have. And to me, that's one of the largest parts of the endorser manufacturer give and take. Is what type of instruments do we need to make? And if you're doing karaoke, I don't see how you could have that type of forward look.
it's kind of interesting calling that karaoke drumming.
Well, to me it is.
Right?
In essence, it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not that that's bad. I mean, you're performing. You've got a venue. Go. One of the biggest problems I think we've got in the industry is we don't have enough venues for people to play.
Yeah.
If that's your venue, rock on. Go for it.
I think it's kind of interesting in that, we've done some things with some YouTube phenomenons, and it doesn't necessarily translate as well in the real world. So I think what you're saying is very, very true in that it really comes down to authenticity, the passion. I mean, that's what I've always taken away from Sabian is there's a real passion for the art and for the craftsmanship and for everything that goes into making these wonderful instruments. So I think that's good.
I have a question also too.
Sure.
You just mentioned the fact about how Sabian is staying on top of social media, looking at these artists that would be great representation of their sound and your sound that you provide. Let's step above and beyond the Chad Smiths. And above what we've talked to the notables. And if you can share with me, I'm curious. This is my own question. Are there great artists out? Well, yes, there are great artists out there that Sabian would really like to have under their umbrella. And if so, how do you go after them?
Well, that's a difficult question for me to answer because it's not something on which I focus. I'm much more focused on the cymbal itself. I'm much more interested in hearing from people that we're already working with. What is it that we're looking for, what they're looking for in sound? How do we make that happen? And how do we make sure quality stays as strong as it always has been? How do we innovate farther? Wow, you got me on that one because it's not something on which I've been focusing.
Yeah, I'm just curious because you talked about Rich said earlier, we know the hoppers out there. We won't mention any names. It's, and I'm just curious to find out because, obviously to build your brand even above the success that it has right now is by the company you keep.
Sure.
To a certain level, and we have to be very, very thankful out there. And as we here at EnterTalk are very thankful that you would take the time out of your vacation, and come down here because you are vacationing, and this is all about work.
Big thanks, brother, for taking the time.
Yeah, man. It's will you be at NAMM this year?
Oh, absolutely. Okay. Absolutely. 4 days to meet the world? Oh, yeah. Definitely.
And I would love the fact of my crew, all of us, to take a picture in front of the Sabian Tower.
Oh, sure.
That would be that's really great. In fact, I'll get with Paul and Cedric. When we go ahead and produce this segment that we're going to be bringing, I'm going to provide you guys with the Sabian wall, and I want to kind of put that into the situation because that is a mainstay. People go there even if they're not playing Sabian. What the hell is this?
It's just
Christmas
pretty.
tree? Yeah, it's pretty. For the lack of, hey man, we're coming up on the last minute. I can, yeah, I know. Again, we wanted 2 hours, but of course, you snubbed us on that, but that's okay. We don't worry about that. But we've got a lot more to talk about. And again, too, I will extend the olive branch. When Sabian has something new that you feel the world needs to hear about, and above and beyond your social media, please employ us. Come to us. We'd love to keep
what you're going to see when you come to NAMM this year?
Absolutely.
Which is going to blow your mind.
Yeah, man. Just, we're all about promotion and so on. So I want the listeners out there to please visit Sabian.com, Sabian.com, for all of your cymbal needs and so on, and all of your gear, the apparel and so on and so forth.
The shirts.
Absolutely.
The bags, the cymbal bags, all of it.
Okay, we're going to get ready to roll out. So I want everybody to say.
And also cymbal cleaner. We have that up there too.
And actually the sound kit.
Sound kit.
Do you know what the sound kit is?
No, but we got to. How much time we have here, brother boy?
Wait a couple minutes. You guys want to hear about this? So what it is? It's a sound kit. It's microphones that are set up specifically for drum sounds, drum and cymbal sounds, and it goes through a very small box that is set up specifically for cymbal and drum sounds. And you can either put that right into your board. Or you can listen to it again. You can actually practice with it. You can plug in if you're used to doing the headphone thing. Now you can hear yourself better. Great little kit.
Done deal, guys. Jackie Bertone, Jackie's Groove, Florentino Buenaventura, Andy Zildjian, Jackie Bertone. Guys, thank you so much as I finish all my broadcasts by saying Happy New Year and peace through music. Brother, thank you so much.
Peace and love.
This is Jackie Bertone from Jackie's Groove.
Okay.
Come join me weekly on my journey through the music business as I take you behind the velvet rope, interviewing industry notables such as Al DiMeola, Michael McDonald, and Al Jarreau, to name but a few. Listen to their stories on being in the studios recording #1 hits and onto the stages throughout the globe. Allow me to be your music historian. You can hear me live every Monday at 2 p.m. and every Wednesday at 12 noon Pacific Standard Time or 24/7 on jackiesgroove.com. Ready to get your groove on?
Hi, this is Tim Dolbear from Eclectica Studios. I'm a full-time mixing and recording engineer. I work with Grammy winners, labels, and indie artists, using state-of-the-art digital mixing and restoration tools and the very best in analog gear. Really, though, it's my ability to bring tracks to life and fulfill your vision for your music. This has made me sought after by producers and artists worldwide. So spend your time working on music and not chasing a mix down a rabbit hole. Go to timdolbear.com and check out our free one-song mix offer.
You know what's all around you every waking moment of your life? Marketing. You're choking on it. I'm Scott Robertson, and when it comes to strategic PR, branding, and marketing, I've seen it all. And actually, I'm still seeing it because bad marketing never sleeps. Join me each week on May the Best Brand Win, right here on EnterTalk Radio, and learn how to make the marketing for your brand unforgettable.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. pitbullaudio.com.